dining tables or like these like weird flimsy things. And I'm like using this like really small monitor because I couldn't bring my big one.
Sweet.
But we are gonna get this game underway, Lillian. You're
Oh
excited.
yeah, best
Some
of
GSL
7.
introductions.
GSL introductions. Nah, they don't have really cool names that work. I've seen Whiterop play a ton on this map on his stream, by the way. He loves this map because he plays this Proto style that is pretty unique. He tries to get down early expansions in pretty much any matchup. Even in PvP, he tries to get away with an as early of an expansion as possible and then just defense it.
Nice.
That is
Yeah,
his go-to strategy.
He does really well with a lot of Stargate play though too. So.
Yeah, he does.
So does MouzMana. I mean, like some of these players, some of these Protoss players are just they're starting to figure it out at least with that Stargate.
Yeah, they are definitely starting to figure that out. So, NerdSwagger, we're going to be going into our first game right now. EmpireKas versus MouzMana. Polish player MouzMana is going to go up against the Ukrainian EmpireKas. What are your predictions for this match, NerdSwagger?
I'm gonna go with EmpireKas just because you think Mana's the favorite, so I just gotta root for the other guy, of course.
Nah, I don't necessarily think Mana is the favorite, but I just I was reading through some forums on Team Liquid and such, and a lot of people were saying that MouzMana does not lose in Protoss versus Terran as much, so
Yeah.
that's what made me think that he might be the favorite. But it is pretty tough to say, man. They are both really, really good. I definitely don't think any of these players got a huge lead or is heavily favored over the other.
Yeah, I'm looking around the map right now, and this is definitely really interesting. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about that here pretty soon after we introduce both of these amazing players.
Hells yeah. Do you want me to handle them? Or?
Yeah, go, Lillian, go ahead. You have the honors.
Sweet.
Go first.
Okay, guys, welcome to the Twitch EU Invitational. You're watching PlayhemTV. We're going to be covering these matches as well. There's about 6 different caster teams in the in this match right now, so it's going to be awesome. It's going to be good. The grand finals, best of 7. The winner will take home $1,000, I believe, and the second place will take $500. So that is a huge amount of money.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, I was going to do introductions and I got carried away. We're going to be going into a Protoss versus Terran here on Entombed Valley. MouzMana, our green Protoss player, in the top right spawn position. He's going to go up against the blue Terran player, EmpireKas, hailing from the Ukraine, and spawning in the bottom left spawn position.
Kaz, definitely a very safe, refined player. It looks like he's going to be going for a 1 Rax expand here, as he is not opting to get his second gas anytime soon, it looks like. And I was just trying to look around this map lately, and I mean, that second expansion, you know, looks pretty easy to take quite safely. Again, it's a really big map, but there are rocks everywhere otherwise, like getting to this third down here, or if you want to go to this third up here, there's 2 rocks blocking that, and that actually really helps the Terran players out, because they can obviously just lift that command center up and just place it in there, and then the Protoss player will have to break down those rocks.
Which rocks are you talking about right now?
Oh, sorry. Right in like the 9 o'clock position right now. This expansion in the middle of the map kind of has 2 rocks blocking it.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's pretty
it
cool.
Just makes it really easy for Terran players to take a really early expansion there too as well if they just want to lift that command center over there.
Yeah, they can hide it there a little bit. It's not the best place to hide. It's not the best place to hide though, because it's like in the middle of the map, and if it gets spotted, I don't think a Protoss player will have a lot of troubles in taking it out. But you're right, it can be sneaky. I definitely think we're gonna see that come into play. Maybe not in this matchup, maybe not in this particular best of 7, but it will definitely become a big deal in the ladder, in you know, the normal kind of style of play. You can definitely hide a command center there and do an awesome job. So
definitely, and And again, this third kind of, you either take out these rocks right here to go for this third. Again, as a Terran player, I feel like it would be a lot easier just to lift the command center and take it. Otherwise, you have to go kind of to this 6 o'clock position right here, which makes it a pretty long reinforcement route if you want to opt for that third. So again, this is just kind of noticing the map and kind of getting a feel for it, as it's very new. It's new to the new season and the new ladder. So,
yeah.
And me and Lillian haven't really had a big chance to play on it too much. So just looking around.
No, I haven't had a real chance to play on it. I did play 1 game on it, I believe, versus a Terran who 1-1-1'd me. I still cannot understand how anyone can deal with a 1-1-1. I keep on losing to it. Even when I expand early on, I'm just not that good in dealing with siege tanks whatsoever. But let's get into this game a little bit. We've seen really early expansions out of both players. One Gate FE and one Rex FE for where the build orders that were chosen. EmpireKas is now transitioning into 2 additional barracks with an early stim and a lot of marines. So this is like a variation of that build we used to see a lot, Nerdswagger, where you add on 3 barracks and then send in a lot of marines and hope your opponent isn't ready. EmpireKas is doing a variation of that right now with only 2 barracks, but with an earlier stim.
Yeah, we should be seeing maybe a little bit of pressure going across the map so we can see what the Protoss is exactly up to, because I'm sure he has no idea. Yeah, he hasn't even really, he scouted just the kind of close by air positions, and he knows it is across map positions right now, but he doesn't really know what our Protoss player is up to, so I would expect him to maybe send some Marines out here pretty soon and poke at the Protoss just a little bit. He's going to be teching up quite obviously, since he's got that second gas going in his main right now and going for that factory, so we should be seeing some medevacs on the way as well.
Yeah, really fast techs are going down for both players. The factory is already done, like you pointed out, and Mana has already got his robotics bay on the way, and with only a few sentries and 2 stalkers out as his total unit count, 2 zealots now being added on as well. That is some super early Colossi, and it's funny because going for super early Colossi while his opponent's going for relatively early medevacs as well. I mean, I don't think you can go up to a much faster medevac timing when expanding early than EmpireKas is doing right now.
And EmpireKas, again, taking advantage of this map. Look where he's building that 3rd right now. I mean, he's going to easily be able to just lift that off and just take that very quickly, and he's going to be able to take down these rocks whenever he wants with this Bioforce. So again, this map is kind of really favoring the Terrans with that lifting of the orbital command. And there goes that starport again. Then those medevacs are going to be popping out. And as we said, Mana going for kind of that early Colossus play, already getting those 4 gases. So he's going to be able to pump those out quite easily. And we're going to have to see, Kaz is going to have to throw down some sort of scan here soon so we can spot that and start pumping out some Vikings.
I'm actually surprised how little scanning was done by both players. Mana now has an observer coming in, and that observer will see everything there is to see, and well, he will not be unhappy with that. He will not be too happy about it either. He was probably hoping for EmpireKas to go for that, additional 3 barracks and then into an early push. With the super early Colossi out of Mana, he would have been able to crush that pure Marine force so easily. But unfortunately for Mana, that is not what Kaz is doing. He went for an early stim and early medevacs, and now he's going to go for a sort of timing attack, I would say. The first 2 medevacs are out, and he is heading across the map right now.
Yeah, and this is not going to be good for Kaz at all. 1 Colossus is already out on the field. We have Thermal Lance 3/4 of the way down. The 2nd Colossus being thrown out as well. Double upgrades going down. So I think if Mana can just kind of back off and get the engagement that he wants, he'll be able to destroy this small Bioforce quite easily.
Yeah, he definitely will be. EmpireKas still in the dark right now. Oh, beautiful force fields. Oh,
really nice force fields. Again, that Colossus making such a huge difference so early on in the game. No Vikings on the way yet, still pumping out those 2 medevacs, but Vikings will be following it up. Nice little timing. We should be maybe even seeing a timing out of Mana if he wants to do some type of 3 Colossus push. Kaz trying to do some drop play in the natural right now, not doing a whole lot of damage. Took out 1 Stalker, and that's about it.
Yeah, he took out 1 Stalker, not even a single probe went down there, so that was some good crisis management. Well, it actually wasn't much of a crisis, if you ask me. Mana. Yeah, definitely wasn't a crisis, but good management anyway by Mana. He cleaned that up easily without losing anything, so he's looking pretty good right now. Taking a look at the units killed tab, we can see that MouzMana has already killed 12, while EmpireKas has only killed the scouting, or that 1 Stalker, excuse me. So it's looking pretty good for Mana, and he does manage to pick off that medevac that was retreating in the bottom here, near the 3rd base of Kaz, and it looks like Mana wants to try and do some pressure here with this early Colossi. There's only 2 Vikings on the field, and the Bioforce isn't as big either.
These Stalkers might be able to take out the Vikings as well. Yes, only 1 Viking on the field. He might be able to snipe the 2nd one, and he does. Some decent force fields, not really trapping a lot of Bio go down. These Colossus should be able to get on that high ground and still snipe away at this Bioforce, which is exactly what they're going to be doing, Larian, and these Colossus continue to rain down. Vikings now getting in the mix. These Stalkers need to start sniping. Zealots finally getting into the mixture as well. They should be charging in. He's just getting up his Twilight Council back at home, so no charge. These Colossus again doing so much damage though, Larian.
Yeah, they definitely did. Some workers were killed as well. 12 SCVs were pulled to help deal with that attack, and they definitely helped out. They are going to be pushing this attack back, but losing 12 workers like that. Lifting up.
Yep, not actually pushing this quite back too far. MouzMana needed to get that forward pylon down, and it is finally down. Here
What is he
comes some more
doing right now?
Zealots. He needs to make sure he keeps his Zealot alive. These Stalkers defending against this one Viking right now. There's this small choke on this ramp is just stopping that Terran player from getting in there. If he would have warped in some sentries too, that would have been so nice for some force fields. Zealots getting in there and doing a lot of damage to this Bioforce. This Colossus does need to back off. This Viking could go snipe it. Ooh, these Stalkers are going to get a medevac, and that was a really, really nice attack, I think. But man, I think both players kind of ending on the same footing.
Yeah, I think that MouzMana overcommitted to that attack a little bit. He only had 3 Stalkers and a single Colossi sitting there. If Kas would have stimmed up all his Marauders and tried to snipe him, he might have been in a little bit of an awkward position. I think Kas missed an opportunity there. But it's still not looking that bad for Kas. He did lose, how many workers? 12? Actually, 21 in total.
Yeah, that's huge, literally. And so, I mean, that's setting Mana up right now. 12 workers, which isn't too bad because there's 5 mules on the field as well right now. So, I mean, again, economically, they're still probably about the same. One of these things I was going to add, though, that's I really like Mana going this early Colossus, is it kind of limits the Terran's medevac count right away because the Terran has to go straight into that Viking production. So, I mean, the Terran's not going to have kind of the healing that it needs for that stemmed Bioforce. So, that early Colossus play really helps with that.
Yeah, that's a good point you're making there, Nerdswagger. There's only 2 medevacs out on the map right now, guys, and 2 medevacs are not going to be sufficient to heal that entire force up if they stim a few times. He definitely needs to add on a few more, but with only 1 starport out on the field, I feel like he should be getting a second starport, maybe. But you never know when the Protoss opponent is gonna, transition into that Templar play, and if you just invested in another Starport and into another 10 Vikings when he's doing that transition into Storm, you can be overcompensating a ton, investing in another Starport, investing in more Vikings. It's a tough call to make.
Yeah, definitely a good point, Lillian. And one thing I'd have to note as well, which really helped our Protoss players, those upgrades. He's now just finishing up 2-2, whereas our Terran player is only sitting on 1 right now. He's getting the 1 other armor and now just starting level 2 weapons. So that double forge is really helping our Protoss player right now. He should be going into 3-3 here quite soon. Again, Storm halfway done right now, just like you were saying, kind of transitioning into that. And we see our Terran player, Kaz, he knows he's kind of a little behind after that engagement, so he's throwing up this 4th expansion over here on the right side.
Yep, he is getting that up in a little bit of a hidden position. I don't think Mana would be scouting for that as easily. He will assume that the 4th base is going to be where he's got that pylon located. Nice job by Mana having some map awareness, having that. He's got observers everywhere. He's got an observer over the main army. He's got an observer in the middle of the map. Mana knows exactly what's going on, so he can safely expand to his 4th base right now. Kas doing the same. These players are still really even, but that point you made about the upgrades is really important. Because our Protoss player, Mana, is now chrono boosting out 3-3, while our Terran player is just now starting 2 armor and has 2 weapons about halfway done. So Mana does have the upgrade advantage, which is a really, really big deal if you get get to that late game, get maxed out. If you have 3-3 over your opponent's 2-2, ooh, that's not going to be pretty.
Not at all. And one of the things about Kaz is he's been very much playing in the dark right now, literally, and he hasn't really scouted the main of the Protoss at all. I mean, just throwing down 1 scan could give him so much information right now in the Protoss's main. I mean, there's 11 gateways up. Of course, he's got the Twilight Council and the Blink, but even that Templar Archives, I feel like he maybe needs to even add some more drop harassment play to kind of get himself a little bit more back into this game, and he could snipe some big high-tech structures as well.
Yeah, you could. We've got 3 Zealots now scouting out that base by Kas, but it's a planetary fortress, so I don't think they're going to be able to do too much. They're going to be charging in there, trying to kill that PF, maybe kill that SCV building the expansion, and that's about it. Those are going to go down right now.
Both of these armies might intercept each other. It looks like Mana was thinking about going for that. The Bioforce is starting to move forward. He did spot that with that proxy pylon that he did have earlier, but one of the good things about those 3 Zealots is he actually spotted the other command center going up as well. So he's going to know that Kaz is going into a huge macro game that's going to limit his army just a little bit. I mean, we see Kaz on 200-200 and the same for Mana. So again, these two should be engaging with each other here quite soon.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Mana wait for that 3-3 to finish. It's about 20-30 second-ish out. And he's going to have about 3 in-game minutes where he has some awesome upgrades and his opponent doesn't. So I definitely expect him to be hitting that timing. He did finish up 3 armor right now. 3 attack is not yet done. Prioritizing the armor over the attack. And here we go. The Ghost being caught out in front of the army, getting roasted immediately. But they did get off some awesome EMPs. The Templar were not in the best position. And this is looking pretty good for Cast right now, I do think.
Oh, those storms, though, Lirlian doing a ton of damage on this Bioforce. Again, not a lot of medevacs in the mixture. A lot of orange and red units right now. Those Vikings taking some pretty big hits. So some really decent storms did go down. And that was just some great kind of defensive maneuvers by Mana, because it was looking bad for him just for a while.
Yeah, I'm surprised that his Templar were that far back. I mean, you have to keep him back, obviously, to avoid them getting EMP'd, but they were so far back that they were actually a little bit late to the party, so to say. All the Colossi had already fallen to the Vikings by the time those Templar got their storms off. What I'm trying to say is that the engagement could have gone even better for Mana than it already did. I mean, his superior upgrades made it that engagement a little bit one-sided, but it could have gone even better if those Templar were in position with their storms.
Yeah, definitely. This is something to add that's quite crazy. Is we have Mana pumping out 3 Colossus at once right now, Larry, and that Colossus count, our production is ridiculous. There's 7 Vikings still on the field, but again, when that Colossus count gets up to, that 5 or 6 range, sometimes Vikings don't even matter because the Colossus just burn through that bio so quickly that all that you'll have left are those Vikings really at the end of the battle.
Yeah, that is very true, Nerd Swagger. This is turning out to be quite a crazy macro game, man. There's bases going up everywhere. Mana now grabbing his 5th and 6th base. The 6th base is just now on the way in the middle of the map. The 5th one already finished up. Cass has a lot of orbital commands already finished up and ready to move out. He's building another one left side on the map. Wow, we see Mana going in for an attack. Wow, Cass is out of position and looks like Cass wants to go for some kind of counter. He is not retreating right now.
No, he's not. He's going to catch these High Templars in the middle of the field. These High Templars should be able to do a lot of damage if they don't get sniped by these ghosts. And so he's trying to cut off the reinforcements right now. So these Stalkers and everything else are going to get a little picked off, but the main army does come back from Mana. So he should be able to do a lot of damage. The Bioforce stimming up. Oh, that's so much stim, and the Storm's going down, doing so much damage. Mana is doing a good job of pushing back, but here comes Kaz. Oh, Kaz getting a little limited right now, Lillian.
Yeah, he doesn't have any Vikings on the map anymore. There were such awesome storms by Mana that EmpireKas does not have any Vikings left right now. They were all caught in front of the army. They got stormed, and things are not looking good for Cass right now. He's on the back foot. He's trying to make his retreat. All his units are in the red HP. We talked about this earlier. Only 1 starport for EmpireKas for so long that he only has a single medevac out on the field right now. He does finally have that 2nd starport, so he is going to be making Vikings 4 at a time, but is it going to be enough? He already lost 1 base, and by the looks of it, he's going to lose another one.
Yeah, I don't know. This is not looking good for Kaza at all. Again, that Bioforce is so weak right now in the red and the orange, and it is getting dwindled down right now. Vikings now finally starting to stream in. There are 4 coming out, so he does have 2 starports, but that is just a little too late, and there's the GG. Yeah,
there's the GG. Congratulations to MouzMana taking game 1 here in what was a solid macro game, I'd call it. There was not a lot of multi-pronged harass. There were not, crazy tactics involved. It was basically 2 players expanding a lot early on, getting out early upgrades. Of course, Mana got them out a little bit earlier.
Again, like you were saying, there was that small kind of window that Mana had where he was sitting on the 3-3 and our Terran opponent didn't have the upgrades. So he took advantage of that right there at the end, as we saw, because those 3-3 were just finishing up for Kaz, and again, it made the difference. So guys, we are going to go into a quick commercial break, and we will be back with game 2 of this amazing best of 7. Be right back, guys.
Good point.
What's up?
Bam. Nothing. It's all good in the hood.
Just talking to yourself. It's cool.
Yeah. Oh dear.
What's up?
The ImbaTV cast, or I think it's ImbaTV, saying, "Don't worry about me, we cancel casting, Duff has a virus." So they're apparently not going to be covering this. That's a shame.
That's too bad.
EmpireKas saying, "So, lol, how can you kill a passive Protoss?" I don't know. Let's see.
I know, that is really hard. Yeah, Protoss, when we kind of play defensively, I can see how it's really hard. You just need to add more harassment. Like I was just adding, there was no drop play really whatsoever except for that one little drop at the beginning of the match on that natural, but that pretty much did nothing. Again, if you add a lot more drop play as a Terran, it keeps the Protoss a little bit more on their toes. And again, if you're able to snipe those high-tech structures as Robotics Bay or Templar Archives, you can hit some timing windows where you can go in there before they're able to reinforce with those special units.
Definitely true, Nerdswagger. We're going to be heading into Game 2 in this best-of-7 Grand Finals right now, guys. MouzMana's up a game, and EmpireKas chose this map to play on. Maybe he chose this map because it's not as easy for Protoss to take an early third base on this map as it is on the map we just came from. Might be the reason why he chose for this map.
Shout out to McDuffs. Hope he starts to feel better. Again, he got a little virus, so some guys from InvaTV are going to be joining us. So thanks, guys, for hopping over to our stream.
Okay, that is cool. Thank you for joining us. We're in Game 2 right now. EmpireKas versus MouzMana, Nerdswagger. We have some cross-spawn positions, which is something that Mana will be quite pleased with, I do think. Spawning in the cross spawns allows you to take that one gate expo a little bit safer than the horizontal spawning positions would. Also, you're a little bit safer from drops and airplay because all Banshees and Medivacs take a lot longer actually to get to your base. Cross spawn positions actually a huge distance in between if you want to fly your Medivacs over there.
Yeah, definitely. I would have to agree with that. I mean, there's just so much open space, like you were saying, that, again, those medevac play, that drop play, again, kind of needs to be added if our Terran player kind of wants to keep the Protoss on their toes when they are playing as defensive as Mana is.
Definitely. So, quick introductions. EmpireKas, bottom left, blue Terran player. And then in the top right, we've got our green Protoss player, MouzMana. He won the first game, looking really solid. That was just pretty much a macro game where we've seen two big engagements, Mana controlling his units better, having the better upgrades, getting off those awesome storms, was able to take that game pretty easily, I feel like.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I would definitely say so as well. He had some just really good engagements. I mean, that one engagement where he kind of lost his whole army, he was able to kind of shoot down the economy of Kaz during that, so he kind of made himself be on top in that situation, because we saw him back that attack up with a third base, and he continued to probe behind it, and he continued to get upgrades. So, I mean, he was just doing so much. It really wasn't like, this timing attack has to work, otherwise I'm going to lose the game. It was more of just like, this is a really safe attack for me, and even if I lose, I have a lot riding behind this.
Yeah, you're so right, Nerdswagger. It was a sort of timing attack, but there was no way, not an all-in of any sort. He was really safe while doing that. Just poking out, seeing if he could do any damage, and if he would not be able to, he could just pull back and he would be just fine. And that's what you get with those pretty late, expansion-heavy timings. You can commit to it, but you can also just fall back and fall back on your, let's say, your third base.
Yeah. Definitely. Again, we see Kaz kind of playing his more safer style, just going into a one racks into a fast command center. I mean, again, Shakur's Plateau kind of opts for that. It's a pretty big map, so he's able to do that pretty safely, and I wouldn't be surprised if Mana is going to do kind of around the same type of thing, maybe go for an early Nexus. But he does have that double gas right now, so he should be maybe adding some tech down before he kind of goes into that second expansion.
Yeah, that second gas is actually a little bit surprising by Mana. I have seen Protoss players do that Stalker into 2 or 3 sentries into an expand, but the general build that you do as a Protoss player when expanding early versus Terran, you only get like a single Stalker out and you start Warp Gate research, and then you get that Nexus down because you don't want to be falling too far behind in regards to the Nexus and Command Center timing. As you can see, the Command Center for EmpireKas is already finished and is already mining, so he's already gaining benefit, while MouzMana is just now starting his expansion, so taking that additional gas is delaying the Nexus by a pretty big deal.
Yeah, that was a really good. That's a really good point you make, Lillian. Again, this is kind of an altered build of what we normally see. He's getting those 3 sentries out, kind of behind this. Going to be able to block that rain. But just because he did get that second gas a little earlier, again, that's going to set him kind of far behind with getting this second base up and running. So that's going to give Kaz a little short window of being ahead, and he might be able to pump out a little bit more of an army and do some nice timing attacks.
Yeah, it could be with only a few sentries out. That marine the marine pressure that we were talking about earlier with the 4 barracks can be really good versus this as well. With only a few sentries out, you really have to be on top of your force fields. If you miss one, you're pretty much out. But that's we see EmpireKas switching it up a little bit. He does once again have 3 barracks. He does have the early tech lab again. He does have the early stim on the way. And he does have the double refinery. The double refinery a little bit earlier than last game. So we're probably going to be seeing him do pretty much the exact same build that he did in last game, just with an even earlier stim or an even earlier medevac timing.
Yeah, he might be just opting for a little bit of an earlier attack right now. We finally see Mana, his second, finally getting up and operational right now. 3 gateways and a robo going down for him. So we're going to have to see if he's going to be opting into that fast Colossus play like we saw from him last game. No rally set on his natural right now, so some probes are just hanging out by the base. Finally starting to move there. Oh, Mana. Small things like that can set you behind. Now we see Mana going kind of out on the map right now, getting some Xel'Naga control, and just keeping that kind of map awareness, which is very nice.
Yeah, he's getting some awesome map awareness, and this is really funny. We see both players do the exact same build as they did in last game. EmpireKas now going up to the early starport that we talked about, and Mana is doing the exact same thing with the early robotics bay. So they're not switching it up. They're playing their comfort game, I guess. They're really comfortable with the style, really know how to play it, and they can make it work. But this is so surprising to me that that 2 players would do the exact same build 2 games, in a row.
Yeah, this is definitely very interesting, and there go that 3rd and 4th gas that I was just going to mention. I think that Mana might be a little later on this build than he was in previous, but I mean, still, that works out for him quite nicely. That robotics bay is now done. He was doing a little bit of poking in the front here too, as we can see, trying to just get some intel on what Kaz is exactly going for. Starport is now out. Medevac's kind of supply blocked right now, actually, because there's some zealots in the main right now doing some damage to some SCVs, literally, and this is pretty huge. How did they get in there?
Yeah, that is exactly what I was thinking as well, but there's a pylon on the low ground that warped them in, and let's see what these zealots were able to do. They were able to kill 6 SCVs, so that's some hero zealots there, killing 3 SCVs each. That is a good investment.
Yeah, definitely, and now that pylon is going to go down and the observer goes down, so nice little harassment. That was a very little cute play, if you will, getting those 2 zealots in there to do that little economical damage. So I like Mana's little poke there. Again, those Colossus are going to be coming out, and Medevac's coming out already on the field. Let's see, he has 2 medevacs, I believe, just 1 medevac right now. Again, when that Colossus that Colossus tech is spotted, he's gonna go straight into that Viking production, and again be kind of limited on the medevacs for healing these stemmed biophores.
Yeah, he needs to start Viking production ASAP. Looks like he's gonna try and go for that same timing push that we've seen him do in last game, but with Mana doing the exact same build as in game 1. I think we're gonna see a repeat of game 1 pretty much. I mean, once again, very early upgrades, double Forge is going down for a Protoss player. He's about to finish up 1 armor. He's got 1 attack on the way as well, while Kas has only got a single engineering base, so he will be falling behind on the upgrades again. I really think that's a mistake, knowing Mana, knowing Kas, and the heavy kind of macro style they play. I really think you should be investing into that engineering bay, into your double forges pretty early on. And we don't see Kas doing that right now. As a result, he could fall behind in upgrades again, and we've seen what happens when you fall behind in upgrades in last game.
Yeah, definitely. Kaz kind of metagaming Mana right now. He actually made some Vikings before even seeing the Colossus tech, so he's starting that Viking production right now, which is a pretty nice move. Again, he needs to get that medevac count a little higher. That would be quite nice to see, but he's already starting, again, those Vikings before even spotting the Colossus tech, and that Colossus tech, this is, again, the exact kind of same play that we saw last game.
Yeah, that's completely right. I mean, the Zealot charge is on the way, the Colossi are coming out, he has his 3rd base in the way. Of course, not as early of in 3rd base as on last map. On this map, we talked about this in the start of the game. it's a lot tougher as a Protoss player or as a Terran player or as any player to take a super early third on this map. So these third bases for both players are a little bit delayed. But not that big of a deal. EmpireKas has got his base up a little bit earlier, so he might have the economic advantage. He is up by SCVs as well. Wow, that is actually surprising to me. How did Kas manage to be up in SCVs? I mean, he lost a few, and...
Yeah, he's just been playing this crazy game. I mean, he's up about 30 supply right now. He's been playing this really safe style. Again, I'd kind of like to see him add some drop play into this kind of play style and to keep, again, the Protoss on their toes, maybe snipe some things and get that good, valuable information. I mean, he could have easily sniped this third whenever he wanted to with a nice drop going down. There is the drop kind of down here in the corner, but it's really not doing that much.
Ooh, but there are 4 Marauders there, so if they stim up, they can really try to snipe that Nexus. 2 Zealots not just now being warped in. The Spider senses for mana were tingling, and those Zealots are going to be able to buy some time. Looks like he's not even going to try to go for the Nexus. He's going for the probes, and seeing that Kas was already had by a lot of workers. Oh, what are those probes doing now? All evacuating back. Oh man, that was not good.
Wow.
By mana, he lost 12 workers there. 12 workers, and he was already down, so now it's 50 workers for mana to 63 of Kas. Kas is getting...
Yeah, Kas making these Marauders really cost efficient right now and doing a great job of keeping them alive. Zealot's starting to stream in right now. He gets to notice the charge going down as well, so that's kind of good spotting for later. He's going to be, should be getting out those ghosts. Yep, 3 ghosts being produced right now, so those EMPs are going to be quite nice. He's going to be getting up to that 200 here momentarily. We're going to have to see if he's going to be pushing out those upgrades. Looking a little better for Kas right now. He's going to be sitting on 1-1, whereas our Protoss players should be doing about the same. Yep, 1-1, 2-2, almost finish.
Yeah, so once again, he is going to have that slight... Oh, nice feedback there by Mana on that medevac. I was just about to say that the medevac was so cost efficient, killed 16 probes with 4 Marauders. That's definitely some crazy kills that he got there. And it looks like yeah, Kas is just in an awesome position in this game. He doesn't have a 4th base on the way just yet, which I think he could use at this point. I mean, he could just start to produce it at the top left spawn position and get that 4th base ready, but looks like the first real engagement of this game is coming up. Storm has finished, the upgrade advantage is for Mana, some nice storms going down on the Vikings, actually not the best in my opinion.
I would have to agree. It's going to come down to these storms right now as Kas kind of has the better army right now. These Colossus setting up in really good position. I like when Mana fights in this small choke right here. It doesn't give the concave that the Bioforce needs to do the optimal damage, and it just makes those storms so much more effective.
Oh yeah, they definitely get much more effective. There's only 3 Colossi in that army mixture right now. No storms are in here. The Ghosts are coming in. If they get that EMP off, this is going to be pretty good, I think, for EmpireKas. Of course, Mana still having the upgrade advantage, but it looks like Kas is going to be crushing through this. Only 1 Colossus left standing, and he's losing his health rapidly. That Colossus is definitely going to go down, and we see Kas pushing back MouzMana right now.
Yep, and a lot of Kas's forces are weak as well. Those Vikings are really weak. 2 of them looks like only 1 shot, and they are going down. We see that 4th going up for Kas. So Kas, again, playing a more passive style himself right now. Just trying to play that macro game, just trying to get that forces up, trying to do as little damage as he can when he can. Crazy things going down in some ping area.
Got to be kidding me. I mean, come on. If you get into a game like this and you're going to start randomly pinging the map, that is fucking ridiculous. Anyway, let's get back into this game. The 4th base is up for MouzMana, and he's transferring some probes over there. He did get that early 4th, so he was able to catch up in probes a little bit. He's now on the same footing as Kas, but he is of course behind in army. 174 supply for Kas, only 124 for Mana. He's trying to spend all his minerals, but that early 4th base might not have been the best option right now. All the Ghosts coming in, they're gonna get off some nice EMPs. Only 1 Colossus, not the best storm there. How many more storms does he have? He does have another 2 storms in the bank, and here they come.
Oh, some decent storm going down, taking out about all of the Ghosts right now, but I don't think he just has enough right now. No more just Zealots streaming in, some Colossus streaming in as well. Kas kind of putting himself in a bad position back here, but I don't think Mana's going to have the force to stop this.
No, he's not. That's going to be a good game there by Mana, and EmpireKas is going to tie this series up 1-1. The upgrades were relatively easy in that, even in that last engagement, but that last engagement was... You know, there was no way Mana was going to win that. He lost the battle in the middle. He was down on workers so long. And when he finally started to catch up in economy, that's when EmpireKas decided to attack. He only had 124 supply MouzMana because he was going for that early 4th base. Chrono boosted out so many more probes. And that is why EmpireKas was able to take that game. He's going to tie the series up 1-1, guys. I am Lurlian. I'm casting here with my good friend Mr. Nerdswagger. We'll be running a quick commercial before we're going to be jumping into EmpireKas MouzMana Game 3 on ESL Teldarim Altar.
Boom. Should have gone through.
Total Biscuit saying that everyone who is not a caster should get out of here, and MouzMana's like, I'm not a caster. Oh, that was funny. Anyway, guys, welcome back. The series has been tied up 1-1. I will be reflecting that in the scoreboard right now. And we are starting the countdown already, Nerdswagger. Our green Protoss player MouzMana is going to go up against our blue Terran player on ESL Teldarim Altar. I'm actually not too sure if this map is any different from the usual Teldarim Altar that we play in Playhem. Do you know anything about that? I guess we can be. I guess we will be finding out right now.
Yeah, you can look around a little bit. Doesn't really look like it. No, it looks like it's just about the exact same.
Yeah, I'm centering in on one of the big difference between the ESL version and the normal version, the ladder version, so to say, is this gap between the 3rd base and the main base. Blinkstalkers can abuse this so much versus Terran. This is something that Blizzard took out in the ladder version. There's no way you can blink across. There's no shenanigans possible there. And I definitely think Blizzard has done a good job removing this thing here. That made for some really cheesy games, even though it was fun, you know, with the Blinkstalkers. But it made for such odd gameplay, you know, Terran players getting bunkers on the high ground near that little, you know, thing.
Yeah, definitely that is going to be kind of a big difference if our Protoss player does decide to opt to go for that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a big deal if he does go for that, but I don't think it's very likely to see MouzMana do something like that. I am not too sure if he's the biggest fan of Blinkstalkers, but we haven't seen him utilize any blink play in his games today. So I don't think he's going to be doing that. I think we're going to be seeing the same style out of our two players. Maybe we're going to see the exact same build orders again, because once again, this is, you know, the macro map. This is the map to be going for that early expansion, to be going for those upgrades, to be going for that early 3rd base. What are you thinking, Nerdswear? Are we going to see the same play style as in game 1 and 2?
Yeah, I would have to agree with that, because this map again is kind of set up for that play style. Again, a very big map, even in these kind of close air positions. Again, one thing that I just wish kind of Kaz would implement more is those drops, because especially on this map right here with this close air positions, drops can be so effective and they can just do so much damage. I mean, we saw how much damage he could do with just those 4 Marauders. You know, think if he did some like actual drops in the main on the actual probe line. So. We will have to wait and see. Again, I think he is going to opt for that same style, as we don't see gas going down for Kaz, so he should be throwing down that early expansion.
Yeah, and Mana is metagaming his opponent right now a little bit. He went for the Nexus first, knowing his opponent will probably go for the same build as in game 1 and 2. No gas on the way, like you said, so we are going to see that early command center play out of Kaz. Kaz is going to be very unlucky. This SCV who is being sent out to scout right now is going to be underway for about a year and a half before he finally scouts the Protoss base, and by the time that SCV gets to the Protoss base, it's going to be too late. There will be nothing for him to counter that Nexus first. If he would scout that immediately, he could be like, okay, Nexus first, I could drop down another 3 barracks and go for a 1 base all-in and try to seal the deal that way, because a Nexus first is really tough to hold if a Terran scouts it early and decides to punish it. or try and punish it.
Yeah, definitely. I would have to agree. And Kaz, kind of the more passive player, Terran player himself. I don't know if he's going to be opting for that, but again, like you were stating, that fast Nexus can be so dangerous if the Terran player does decide to punish it. And that's kind of when we see those 3 or 4 racks come out with all that huge Marine count at the beginning. That's kind of when we see that aggression unfold, is when the Terran player does kind of scout that Nexus first. But I mean, he is going to be scouting last, so he's not going to notice that whatsoever.
No, he's not going to notice that whatsoever. And there, bam, we finally see EmpireKas do what is so standard in Protoss versus Terran these days. Go for the 3 barracks. Ooh, actually another barracks being added on by Kas. Wow, he's doing all this pretty much in the blind. His SCV still hasn't scouted, so he's going to add on 4 barracks. And this is definitely a little bit of an more all-in kind of play than it normally would be. You know, 3 barracks, that is good. You can get add-ons on that, but 5 barracks this early on, that's going to delay his gas and his tech so much that he really has to do a ton of damage to be able to justify those early barracks.
Yeah, again, just like you were saying, just like we were saying, that Nexus first, this Marine count should be able to do a lot of damage. And again, there's not a lot of this ramp is excuse me, really big, and the sentries aren't going to be able to force field all of it. Right now, stalkers are just being made. He might be kind of getting those 3 stalkers out to kind of scout around the map. We see him hanging out on the Zelnagas, so he's going to be able to put this stalker on the Zelnaga and see that Marine force come across the map.
Yeah, he needs to go out there immediately. Those 2 stalkers can do a lot of micro versus the few Marines that are out right now. They can probably pick off a few of those. We see EmpireKas keeping most of his Marine forces back. He's only showing about 7 of them. And MouzMana is going to come up here, and he is not going to see a bunker or anything, and he might be a little bit surprised by that, because a Terran player always gets a bunker unless he's doing something like this. I mean, you don't need a bunker right now. He's getting as many Marines as early as possible, so any attack that Mana will throw at him, he will be able to hold off with those Marines. So maybe that's going to set off some alarm bells in Mana's head.
Yeah, it should. This Kaz, this kind of Marine push from Kaz should be happening here pretty soon. And yep, there he goes, moving down the ramp. We do see 3 gateways finishing up for Mana, so he's going to be able to turn those into warp gates here pretty soon and start to reinforce his army. More gateways coming up behind that as well. Twilight Council should be done, so we see Blink Stalkers coming up, but this Marine force, again, could do a lot of damage. Not a lot of aggressive units on the field for Mana.
That's one lucky probe there on the watchtower, Nerdswagger. Yeah. The entire Marine army ran by, and here we go. The engagement's going to be happening. Guardian Shield goes down. More Stalkers being warped in. MouzMana trying to micro. Not doing the best job. Already losing a Stalker and his 1 sentry that he had. But the Marine count is slowly dwindling. Another Stalker going down. He has 3 gateways to be working with. Warping in. What is he warping in? He's not warping in anything right now. More Marine reinforcements coming in, and they're going to be killing a lot of probes here. The Stalker count is still diminishing. Still only at 3. But this attack will eventually be held off.
Yep, and it forces these probes to go all the way back there, so he's losing some mining time. These Marines are going to catch them, though, so they should be able to do a lot of damage. Focus them down, Kaz. There you go. So these Marines have killed 11 workers so far. These Stalkers trying to catch up. These probes trying to be as evasive as possible, playing Ring Around the Rosie with these Marines. Oh. Pretty silly in this probe in the middle. Oh, who was that? This probe in the middle is going to go down.
Oh no, the probe in the middle does finally go down. EmpireKas realizing it was there. Those Marines are still desperately trying to chase down those probes, but all the Marines will be going down. And like you said, 12 workers were killed there by Kaz. He is now, he's still behind actually. He's still down by 2 workers. That Nexus first out of mana made him pull ahead in the probe count so far. And it looks like we're going to see a counterattack out of mana right now. There's not a lot of forces at all for Kaz. They don't have stim, they don't have combat shield. So many Stalkers. I don't think these Marauders are going to be the answer. Oh, this is looking really bad for Kaz right now. Blink has finished up. He needs to pull those SCVs. The last Marauder does fall. The bunker is about to go up, but there's no units to go in there, Nerdswagger.
Nope, he's getting some great Blink micro going down. That bunker finally does finish. Mana was able to pick off just a few SCVs there, just 4, so nothing too big, and that bunker just really saved Kaz right there.
Oh yeah, without that bunker, things would have been ugly. More Stalkers are going to be added on. Funnily enough, we were talking about that earlier, how Mana would probably not go for a Blink Stalker play. Oh, beautiful move there.
Oh, so nice.
That is
really loved seeing that play. He got that high ground vision and just blinked the rest of his army, completely evading that bunker, and his Bioforce is going to have to deal with it. So some more great Blink micro going down, but I think Kaz should be able to hold this off, and he does.
Yeah, should be able to hold that off, but Mana putting on the constant pressure is definitely wearing Kas out a little. Kas is now behind by 9 workers. What is the follow-up by Mana going to be? He is investing in charge right now. He's still on 6 gateways, doesn't have a robo, surprisingly enough. While we've seen him in Game 1 and Game 2 rely so much on his early Colossi and his heavy upgrade play, and right now we see him go for the Blinkstalkers. They might decide to blink into the main base, you know, that little...
yeah, that
what
little
would you
gap,
call
and
that?
there goes the bunker. It is going to go down, and he just blinks away. Maybe a crevice of some sort.
A crevice.
Again, like you were kind of stating, the tech for both players is a little behind right now. We just saw the factory go for Kaz, and he's now just finally throwing down the starport. So we should see kind of Mana go into that maybe robotics play here pretty soon, unless he's just going to keep on this warp gate unit composition. He has the double forge going down, so he might just stick to this blink stalker and charge lot mixture.
Yeah, he might indeed. There's one engineering bay out for Kas, and he actually started his upgrade earlier than Mana did right now, because Mana was investing into his early Blinkstalker so much, holding off that marine attack, delayed his tech, his upgrades, and anything he was doing significantly. How many zealots has he already added on? A few, not too many. He's definitely not going to go for a 2-base sort of timing attack with 1-1 or anything. He's got that Nexus now on the way. Those zealots worked away at those rocks. Charge is now finished up. Templar Archive on the way. Like you predicted, Nerd Swagger, he's not going to go into Colossi. He's going to go straight into the Storms and probably transition into Colossi later on. We always see Colossi in Terran versus Protoss.
Yeah, definitely. He's opting for that, that Templar Archives first, going to be going for that Storm, kind of as you stated, and there goes that Robotics Bay as well. So, yep, the Colossus play will come out, of course. We just see the production going crazy for Kaz right now, pumping out a lot of Marauders, a lot of upgrades, and a lot of Marines, and this is where that Terran kind of just goes full force, and sometimes it makes our Protoss fall a little behind.
Yeah, it could be 16 Marauders, 16 Marines are out, the first 2 Medivacs are out, and when the first 2 Medivacs pop is always a good time to, poke around a little bit. Those Medivacs make you so much more safe because you can stim up freely and run away if you're in a lot of trouble. But against Blinkstalkers, you always have to be super duper careful as a Terran player. A single blink underneath these 2 Medivacs, yeah, that's going to be bad news for those Medivacs. They could get taken out, lose all their precious cargo.
Yep, and as I was kind of saying way earlier in this game, this is a good map for this type of drop play. There's just so much room, again, back here, and he can get these tech structures quite easily, but I think he might be, I don't know, it's going to be a tough decision for him. He can either snipe these tech structures and stop Storm from researching, or he can go for the probe line, so this is a pretty crucial decision, Lillian.
Oh, getting a Storm would be huge right now. He needs to focus down that Templar Archive. If he would be able to do that, he's going to be in so much trouble, and there he goes, going for that Templar Archive. The Storm is not yet finished. 2 more seconds, and
9, and it does get done.
Whoa.
I don't know if Kaz is going to realize that or not. I mean, now those Templars can't be built right now for a little bit, but I mean, still, Storm finishing is such a huge thing. Oh, some more drop play going down in the natural. And some decent force fields going down. Zealot's doing a lot of damage to these Marauders and these Marines. These Stalkers are going to be picking up this quite easily, and this force is going to go down, Lillian.
Wow, Mana is so confident, man. He just splits up his army in 3 different pieces. One of them handling the drops in the main base, one handling the attack on the 3rd base. He knew exactly how many units he needed where, and things are looking so good for Mana. He held that attack off so well. He did lose the Templar Archive, so that's going to set his tech pretty far back. The only Templar that he has out, does he even have any Templar out? Did he even make any? Yes, he does have 2 on the map. So, in theory, he could be getting out some Storms, but of course 2 Templar is not the ideal amount to be at.
Yep, definitely, and that Templar Archives does take quite a bit of gas to make, so I mean, he's kind of continuing his army production right now as we see him making a push, so he's just going to be going off of these 2 Templar, and now we finally see him throwing down that Templar Archives, so but we'll have to see what kind of damage he does with this force. If he's able to deny this 3rd, that'll be so huge.
Oh, that would be pretty much game if you would be able to deny that or kill it. Denying is not going to be game just now, but if he would be able to kill that orbital command, that would be pretty big. A lot of Medivacs are out for cast right now, something that we've not seen in early games. What up?
Mana building 2 Templar Archives right now. Maybe he'll cancel the 1 in his natural. He has the 1 in his main that now just did finish up, so he's just kind of having a memory lapse there, if you will.
Wow, some big Storms here. Oh, the entire Terran army is being forced back. Oh, that Storm might seal the deal. No, it's not gonna, but that Storm did so much damage. Are we gonna see the force fields?
Oh, that Bioforce is so weak. Those SCVs all getting cleaned up. 39 workers have been killed. More EmpireKas and this Protoss army continues to do a lot of damage, Kaz is going to have to do some sort of counter attack after this.
Oh yeah, he definitely has to do something like that. Zealots in the natural taking down all the workers. There are 55 workers killed right now by Mana. There's only 24 SCVs left on the map for Kaz, and he has to do something. He's got to know that he is not going to be able to macro his way out of here. He has to go for an all-in, maybe even pull a few SCVs. There's no way he can transition out of losing 50 SCVs. He's down by 40 workers right now, Nerdswagger. That is huge.
Yeah, that is really huge, literally, and I don't know how he's going to get back into this game if he plays this passive style. Look at him, he's just trying to go back into macro mode as best that he can. We see 68 probes to 24 SCVs. That is going to cut Kaz's production down so far, and the Protoss army is just going to continue to build. And just to let you guys know, though, having 2 Templar archives does not double the production of your High Templars.
No, that was definitely a mistake by Mana. He probably forgot that he already made that. He wanted to get some more Templar out. 2-2 has now finished up for Mana, while Kas is finishing up his 2-2 as well, so the upgrades are really even. In that regard, Kas is still doing relatively well, but in every other aspect of the game, he is so far behind. He is behind. He's actually not behind in army supply. He's ahead in army supply. So he's got to make something work now. But there's so many storms. How is he ever going to engage into this Protoss army without, you know, the proper amount of ghosts? Actually, I don't see a single ghost in the army right now. Where are those ghosts at? Where are them ghosts at? Oh, here they are, chilling at the third base. So he does have some ghosts, and he's definitely going to need those. But the longer he waits, we discussed it, the further he will fall behind.
Yeah, definitely, and these medevacs kind of low on energy right now, so I mean the more this little Bioforce stims, the more energy obviously that's going to be lower, because this is going to be the only army for a while for Kaz as he's trying to get that macro back up right now. We now see him at 40 SCVs to the 72 of our Protoss player. Again, Mana just taking leaps and bounds right now as he can do whatever he wishes. We see the upgrades working out a lot better for Kaz right now. He's sitting at 2-2, and so is Mana, but Mana about halfway done towards his 3-3.
Yeah, and you talked about that earlier. We talked about EmpireKas having to reproduce all these SCVs, being down so many SCVs is going to cut his production a ton, and it looks like he specifically cut down on his upgrades. He still continued to get a good amount of SCVs and bio units, but he pretty much neglected any kind of tech, further tech, such as another starport, such as additional barracks. He's just making units, not getting any upgrades either, and with 3-3 about to finish up for Mana, and he's getting close to max as well, with his 4th base already happily mining. No 4th base is mining yet for Kas. There's a pylon there by Mana. I always like to see small things like that, like burrowing a Zergling, getting a pylon. It delays those bases by a ton, forces your opponent to send a few Marauders there to take it out. It's always a good thing to do, such a small investment as well.
Yeah, definitely. As we see kind of this zealot up here in the north corner, just patrolling between these 3 points, because Mana kind of knows that he's ahead. He can't really afford to let Kaz throw down some secret expansion somewhere. So again, the little things that really keep you ahead in this game.
Yeah, that is so good. Map awareness by Mana is really, really good. If you, I'm taking a quick look at his vision. He's got 2 zealots on patrol, seeing about everything. He's got Zelnaga watchtower control. He's got that pylon. It's just so well. Mana keeping control of this game.
Yep, and these Stalkers are just a little out of position right here, so Mana's going to need to make sure that he doesn't lose these quite easily. Now we're seeing the factory going for Kaz, going to be just using that as kind of a scout to see the exact unit army composition of Mana. And I really like Mana's unit army composition. He's got some Immortals, he's got some Colossus, and this is going to be really hard. Oh, nice Storm going down. Yeah,
that Storm was huge. There's 2 Colossi in there as well, and there's not a single Viking out on the field right now. A lot of bio on the field for Kas. He's up in army supply, but definitely not up in army composition. He's got nothing to do with those Colossi who are coming out 2 at a time. 2 more Templar coming in for Storms. Oh my god, feedback Storms.
Oh. Those feedbacks were so sick. These 2 Templar archives right here are going to have to be so careful not to get sniped. They have full energy, literally, and they're going to be able to do so much damage. And this Bioforce stems up right now. Zealots charging in. Some Storms should be going down. Colossus doing a lot of damage as well.
Wow.
Not a lot of Vikings in this mixture. Actually, 0-2 in the back here. But the Bioforce looking a little stronger right now. We just need good positioning out of Mana. That Viking production needs to kick into gear, Lirlian.
Yeah, definitely needs to kick into gear. He's not making a single Viking right now. SCV's now working away at that pylon that I was talking about earlier. That pylon's doing so much right now, delaying that expansion by a huge deal. So good job once again, complimenting Mana on that pylon there. Mana has got his 5th base already up 3-3, like we said, finished up only 2-2 for the Terran. That engagement was actually looking quite good for Kas for a little while. Mana doing a good job retreating, getting out more Colossi, getting out more Zealots to buffer the damage. How many workers is he at? Wow, Mana at way too many workers. Whoa, all those
Colossus coming in, all the ghosts are going to go down. That is so much gas. Vikings going down as well. That's the only Viking that is left right there, and it blows up. And this force is going to probably shut down Kaz. This Bioforce back here is all that he's got, but again, these High Templars, if they get on this high ground, they should be able to throw down some nice storms, and there they go. Kaz isn't going to be able to get up here as our Protoss player moves into the main. Archon's being morphed in. These Colossus should be able to do a lot of damage. They're not going to be able to be taken out. We should be seeing a GG from Kaz any moment.
Yeah, this is definitely over. Kaz dropping down to 70 supply, and there's the GG. MouzMana is going to be taking Game 3 here in the best of 7 grand finals of the TwitchTV EU Invitational. Hosted by Playhem, pretty much. At least we made the brackets and managed those.
Definitely. So make sure if you enjoy Playhem and enjoy what you're seeing, make sure you click that follow button down at the Twitch.tv or check out our other social networks such as Twitter or Facebook, and we would really appreciate that, guys. So we are going to go into a quick commercial break, and literally, what game are we going to be going into?
We're going to be going into Game 4 between MouzMana and EmpireKas coming up. Best of 7, so hopefully we've got another 3 games coming. That would be awesome to see this go all the way to the ace match.
Yeah, definitely. See you, Robin. Thanks for joining us. Have fun at work.
Another 4 games, actually, not 3. Oh my god, I'm a noob.
Jeez, you said just quit now.
I cannot even count.
That's okay. Day 9 thinks the letter J is a number. The number J. I don't know if you ever saw that daily. It was one of the funnier ones.
I might have. Storm's OP. Yeah, unfortunately this is not a best of 31, guys, like the games between Cats and QXC.
Again, thanks for... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you there, but someone said, will the 3rd place match game be played or someone surrendered? Nobody surrendered, but Nurchio pretty much let us know that he could not play today. That game will be played at some other time, the 3rd place match between Tarson and Nurchio, I believe. I'm actually so sad that we don't get to cast that game, Nerdswagger. That would have been an awesome game.
Yeah, that would have been really sick. Again, guys, thanks for watching. If you want to support me or Lillian, you can follow at Lillian at Lillian on Twitter, and he will, tweet whenever he's casting or whatever he's doing with his life. And you can follow me at Mr. Nerdswagger, and I will be also tweeting about random things that involve usually StarCraft. So
yeah, definitely follow Nerdswagger. He gives out free swag to his followers. And that's pretty much where his name comes from, I believe, right? Or
no, there's a different origin for Nerdswagger. It's because usually now, or at least now in the stage of my life, usually when I meet like new girls that I want to potentially date or something, I'm very straightforward, like with what I do in my life. So I'm like, yeah, I cast for StarCraft, I do all this, and I try to throw it out in a swaggery way, like where it comes off as really cool.
It is so really cool, Nerdswagger. What are you talking about?
Since I throw around the Nerdswagger, so it's like nerdy things that I'm saying, but I make it sound really cool.
Oh, sexy.
Do you get where I'm going with that?
Yeah, I get.
You see what I'm doing there?
I see what you did there. The next map is gonna be IC Cup's Antigua Shipyard. I'm not too familiar with the IC Cup Antigua Shipyard. Is that forced cross positions?
I hope so. I hope the players know. Because normally in Playhem, players don't really know about those cross positions.
No,
that's the MLG one that we use. So, it could be close air. But again, I really hope it's cross positions, because that, just creates for a better game, obviously.
MouzMana just asking it now in chat. It's not cross only, right? And he's like, nope, it is not. IC Cup map making team by Prodigy. That is the map we're going to be heading into. IC Cup Antigua Shipyard. We're going to be playing a game of... what is that called in like English? Like find the differences? between two pictures?
I don't know if there's a special word for it. Again, Lillian, you may be asking the wrong person. I'm not the best with the English.
Yeah,
Dictionary.
I did notice that most casters that play when I ask a question like, how do you say this in American? And they're like, I don't know.
We're not the most knowledgeable, I don't know, dictionary, if you will. I don't know. We don't have a way with our words at all.
Apparently. So Antigua Shipyard is the map. Are we seeing any differences? I am not seeing any differences whatsoever. We are spawning in cross-spawn positions like we hoped we would, Nerdswagger. This cross-spawn position is usually making for some awesome, long, drawn-out macro games. Hopefully that is what we're going to see. We've already seen 3 macro games. We might as well see, you know, Mana throwing the cheese in. I mean, he's up by a game.
Yeah, I know. That'd be really nice. I'd really like to see that, actually. Sometimes you do see that in these best of 7s. And it just adds a little bit more spice to the series, obviously, and it kind of keeps your opponent kind of on their toes and lets them play a little bit more honest. So that would be really sweet to see some proxy at some point. But again, Kaz, I know Kaz probably will never do that because he is just kind of a refined, very safe player. Something else I wanted to note that's kind of, you know, been on the rocks lately is this gold minerals, you know. Terran players can really take advantage of that and up their production, as we've been seeing that kind of been taken out of all other maps recently. So that could make a huge difference if this does go into some sort of macro game.
Yeah, the funny thing is that Blizzard commented on that. You know, the GSL removing all those gold minerals, but in Korea there's a imbalance between Protoss and Terran, and doing that change, you know, had some good results that balanced things out a little bit better. But in Europe, there's actually no discrepancy in losing or winning between. You know, there's not as much of a balance issue as there is in Korea, and that presents you with some really weird. You know, how are you ever gonna balance that? In like, you get my point.
Yeah,
in Korea, something is overpowered or not overpowered, and in Europe, it's different. So that is such a weird situation to be in as a development team. But we are actually in a StarCraft 2 game right now. We've seen Kaz go for that one Rax. No, not a 1 Rax. He went straight for the command center. Command center first, after his supply depot, of course, now adding on 2 barracks. And we see Mana. He stopped mining gas of that second assimilator. He did get it. Are we going to see him 4-gate here? Huh.
Oh, that would be so sick, just as we were talking about. Oh, no. He's going to be going for that expansion.
What are those 2 probes doing, though? What?
Keep an eye on them, Lillian. Keep an eye on them.
Look at them. They're going to be... 3 probes are going to be attacking this. He knows there's no Marines out just yet, but he's way late to the party. That's... Orbital Command is already finished up. Those 3 probes being pulled off by MouzMana is definitely not that good of a choice. He does have a Zealot joining up, but by the time the Zealot gets there will be Marines out. If I would be EmpireKas right now, I'd be like, WTF. What are these 3 probes doing here?
Maybe that's exactly what he's doing with throwing down this bunker. He's like, oh no, some huge attack is going to be coming. He's going to be throwing down so many pylons, so I need to get those defenses up right now. Again, just a very interesting play out of Mana, setting these 3 probes. I don't know what he's trying to do here.
No, me neither. It looks like he is going to try to kill some SCVs with that Zealot. Zealot killing 1, all the probes going down. And this is definitely not some effective harass, guys. So... make a mental note to yourself, grab your textbook, and write down that going, oh, that Stalker has to be careful, losing all its shields and a little bit of HP. Mana, I don't know what he's doing, man, but it's not working out too well for him. Looks like he is going to be expanding off of this in a similar way that he did before, but losing 3 probes, losing a Zealot, and only killing, you know, 1 SCV of your opponent with it, it's not a good move. He lost so much mining time, he lost 3 probes. I don't really get why MouzMana made that decision there.
Yeah, it's definitely really, really strange. We see 4 racks now going up for Kaz. This could be really good. He could be going into that Marine harassment again, like we saw last game. Nope, throwing down some attachments, so that's a lie. He's going to be waiting on that. But again, Kaz throwing up the command center. He actually went command center first, so it's just going to be so far ahead of Mana, and Mana knows that as we see him throwing down a fast 3rd. Very greedy.
His Nitro isn't even halfway done yet, and he gets down his 3rd. Mana feeling like a Zerg player today. He's getting out this Nexi everywhere. But man, this is gonna have such a devastating effect on his unit count. He only has 3 sentries out right now. And we see, like you pointed out, Nerdswagger, 4 barracks going up for Kas right now. He is getting an early stim, and he is getting a reactor on that other barrack, so we might see him hit some kind of a bio timing. And if he does go for a kind of bio timing, there's no way that third base can stay alive. I mean, you can force field your way into victory at the second base, but that third base, no way, Jose. That's gonna go down if he goes for that bio attack.
Yeah, definitely. Again, Mana, this could work out in Mana's favor, as we've kind of just seen that Kaz likes to play kind of sort of passive style, but we've seen him go for that bio kind of timing attack. Once he starts getting those first 2 medevacs out, which I mean could be long, pretty long from now at least, as you know he's been trying to go for that more macro style, getting that up. No factory, finally a factory now on the way. So I mean it could be really close for Mana, I would say, in defending this third, because I believe Kaz is going to wait for those first couple medevacs to make any sort of attack.
Yeah, that could be. We've seen him do that a ton, but he does have that stim timing, you know, that is finishing up in about 70 seconds. He does have a lot of bio. It would really surprise me if he would wait for medevacs, because like you pointed out, Nerdswagger, that factory is super duper late, and it's going to be a long time before those medevacs are out on the field. So I hope EmpireKas is going to do something before that. I'd like to point out as well that EmpireKas is not the biggest fan of scouting whatsoever. He just sits in his main base and he's happy, you know. He didn't even scout that natural going down. For all he knows, there could be 5 Nexi out on the map right now, and MouzMana could have made nothing but probes. And looks like I'm going to be right, Nerdswagger.
Oh, yeah, you are going to be right before me. No, he's not waiting for those medevacs at all. He is going to be going purely off of that stim. Very nice call, Lirlian. So if he does spot that third, he's going to be able to deny it very easily, excuse me, and I think that's going to be a GG for Mana, because Mana just really doesn't have an aggressive force out on the field right now.
No, he doesn't. He does have a lot of gateways to be working with, 4 with 2 more being added on. But Mana tried to go for the double upgrade play and the Zealot charge. Oh man, he's being so greedy, going for this many gateways early on, double forge and a Twilight Council with charge. There's no way this third base is going to stay alive, as I pointed out earlier. Those Zealots and sentries. Oh, you could get some nice force fields here. Oh, he's barely going to miss those force fields. And maybe he's going to try to catch the army when it's retreating. But yeah, Mana going for that super early third base could have worked out, but EmpireKas pretty much blind countering that by going for a stim timing push. And he's going to do some awesome damage here, Nerdswagger. He's so far ahead right now. Look at the supplies, man.
Yep, this Bioforce should be able to take out this main army of Mana too if it is caught out of position. It looks like we got Kaz going for just the rocks right now. He should be adding those medevacs into his unit card position, because you know every stem without. Oh, good force fields are going to have to go down. It doesn't block the army just enough. So I think, oh, Zealot's doing a lot of damage earlier in that charge getting in there. It looks like Mana might be able to clean this up, but it's going to be really close. Mana is going to have to back off. If he could have thrown down a couple more force fields, a lot of those sentries still have a lot of energy.
Yeah, but you have to be so careful as a Protoss player. If you get those sentries picked off, oh, that would have been bad news. I think it's a good move by Mana to you know, move back and defend. Keep his sentries alive. If he would have lost all those sentries, that would have been pretty much game. So much gas tied up in those sentries, losing that early third base, not having as much gas income. As you can see, he's just now adding on his third and fourth gas, so his tech is going to be behind. He's going to mainly rely on Zealots. Kas is going to be expanding to a third base already. He's got a nice SCV lead, up by 9 workers, and things are looking good for Kas right now. That timing push he did to kill the early third out of Mana, really, really working wonders for him.
Yeah, that was an excellent move. Again, this just kind of strange intuition from Kaz. He doesn't do a lot of scouting with like his orbital or anything else really. He just kind of goes off of pure instincts of, okay, I'm going to send this Bioforce out at this stem timing, and you know, I mean, he does it very well, and he's, you know, able to deny what Mana tries to get greedy with. And again, Mana just going to be really far behind in this game. Kaz, I think, is just going to be able to keep pushing Mana, and Mana's not going to be able to stop it.
No, I don't think so either. Kas is going to have another wonderful timing here. He's got +1 attack. The upgrades for MouzMana, his 2-2 is not yet done. His blink isn't done yet either. His third base just now finishing up. I think it's going to get killed again, Nerdswagger. There are a lot of Zealots in this army composition. He does have the Templar, and if he manages to get out 2-2 and Storm, he might be okay. But right now, this is so tough to hold. He could just stim and focus this down if he really wanted to. And that's exactly what he's doing, stimming, focusing it down. And losing your third base twice? Ooh, how are you ever gonna get back from that? Storm is not yet done, 2-2, not yet done either. This army out of MouzMana is gonna be significantly more powerful in about 10 seconds with Blink and Zealot Charge and everything, upgrades, Storm and such finished. We see a really cute move here by Kas. I love this Nerd Swagger. Mana does not see this coming.
No, Mana is going to be completely out of position for this.
Oh no.
And no, that second's going to be able to be denied so easily.
Focus it, Kas. Focus that Nexus.
Focus the Nexus and get those Bioforce back up into the Medivacs and just leave without losing anything. Pick up. Oh. Decent Storm going down. I think he just needs to pick up his Bioforce and get out of here, but no, he continues to snipe some high-tech structures. He is going to load 2 Medivacs right now, and there are going to be no Stalkers or any anti-air to get rid of that. Nice moves by Kaz. He's just so far ahead right now.
Yeah. There's no way I see Kas losing this game. He is so incredibly far ahead. 74 SCVs to 44 workers of our Protoss. So he's going to pretty much be pushing out right now. We've seen Kas try and get his economy back up and running after he took some significant blows in last game. Didn't work out too well. We thought he should have counterattacked, and Mana is going to make that decision. He is going to go for the attack. Quick look at the army supply tells us that Kas is ahead by 30 army supply right now. He's getting up those bunkers, and he's got a factory there, so he's got a nice spread, a nice everything here, but the only thing he lacks is Ghost, so he's not going to have the EMPs that he really needs.
Yeah. He's just a little 2 ghosts in his army composition. Again, Mana, this is pretty much his last-ditch effort to win this. He has to win with this engagement, so some decent force fields and storms need to go down. Oh my goodness, Lyrlian, that storm doing so much damage right now, but the Bioforce, some more big storms hitting, and Kaz just taking them. That's something that can definitely set Mana back in this game, so Kaz needs to be really careful.
Oh, beautiful there, force fielding as well. But it is important to note that Mana has got nothing to follow this up with. He's got no more Templar. His Templar are out of energy. They're not going to be able to feed back or storm. And this army is in so much trouble. MouzMana needs to retreat. He was able to deny that third base. The SCV count has been normalized a little bit, but Kas is still up by 20. MouzMana just now reinstating his natural, while Kas is going to be going back up to 3 bases, 20 extra SCVs, and this could be the last engagement here. Some more storms going down, but there's a lot of Medivacs, but they're now all out of energy, so those storms are going to be even more powerful.
And Mana continues to push through this. He should be able to continue to force field that ramp. Oh, he's going to force field this back ramp. More good storms going down, literally doing so much damage. That Bioforce dwindling down into the red, into the orange. Right now, Stalker's doing a lot of damage on these ghosts right now. There's so many ghosts in the unit composition. Finally, these High Templars morphing into Archon Zealots, getting in the mixture, finally doing some damage to these Marauders. So this army force is getting cleaned up by Mana, and Mana looking in a really good position. I know, this is crazy, Larry, and he is up in supply right now when he was just down 40 supply. This comeback from Mana is amazing.
This comeback is definitely amazing. One Archon could be falling. There's some SCVs trying to transfer out of there. How is Mana doing this after losing his third base twice and his natural? He just goes and all-ins and has some perfect positioning, some perfect storms cast. Not really sure on how to deal with that. His ghosts were not out in time. And I cannot believe that I'm saying this right now, but Mana is getting the edge here in this game.
Yeah, this is crazy, literally, and he is just going to go straight for that worker line. He continues to reinforce this army. Now both players are almost on the same setting, if Mana not ahead. Now he's denying the second as well. The third, we see lifted towards the 12 o'clock position in a secret location right now, but production continues to kind of get forwarded by Kaz. Oh, some more engagements going down, some decent EMPs, but these Archons doing so much damage. One Archon has 25 kills, Lyrlian.
Oh, those Archons are doing so much damage. Right now, we see Kaz has got no minerals to really work with. He repositioned his third base to the top spawn position. He's got his natural reinstated, but there's not a lot of mining going on. His main base is running dry, his natural is running dry, and that third base needs to get some mules called down. I cannot believe that MouzMana is actually going to be able to do this, taking his third base behind this. He does have the upgrade advantage, I do believe, 2-2 versus the 3-1. Actually, that's pretty even. Oh, another beautiful storm. I think that's going to be game. Those storms, man. Oh
yeah,
my god.
That is definitely something that set Mana right back in this game. Again, some decent EMPs going down. Those Archons should go down here pretty soon, but they just were so cost efficient, each of them having over 20 kills. Again, storms were such a huge thing in that kind of engagement, and Mana just kept setting himself up in good placement.
Oh yes, he did. He kept on getting fantastic positioning. Actually, EmpireKas is now once again up in supply. What is going on in this game, Nerdswagger? I don't really know. Kas is now up by 15 supply. He's got the same worker count. He does have that hidden third base mining, so he's going to be on pretty much the same income as Mana. Mana's main base is mined out. His natural's got some minerals left, so that's going to be good for a little while longer. His third base has finished up, and he's going to get some mining operations on the way. The income tab is going to favor our Protoss player, at least in the terms of gas. EmpireKas dropping down a ton of mules, so it's a little bit skewed right now because there were 5 mules on the field. But in the long term, Mana's income is going to be better.
Oh, there's so many zealots in this unit composition, literally, and I really like that. Looks like the main of Kaz is just going to be going for that high yield right now as we see him pushing across the map, and is Mana just going to go for a base trade here? Oh no, Kaz is pulling back. He doesn't want to go for that base trade scenario, and it is cutting Mana's army in half right now. Some of his army does go up into the main to do some damage, but some of his army is back here. So looks like Mana is getting sandwiched a little bit between Kaz's bioforces.
Yeah, he has no storms left. EmpireKas is still fighting strong, man. He's up by 30 supply right now.